Alrighty, so the next book that we're going to take a look at here, this album, he's written its $1,000 value, so probably cat value. It says Fiume, Ryukyu Islands, Ethiopia, and Vatican City. And that is, again, a $1,000 book. So, interesting. Something written here in the top corner. Almost looks like Carl Michaels. Then I see maybe the number 4 and then a Roman numeral number 4. So, interesting. Let's see here. I haven't looked at one of these for a while. Figured it'd be nice to see what's going on. Okay, so we start with Fiume. This page 122. Looks like the earliest he has is number 3. There's a few of them here. Or a couple, let's say. One used, one not used. I wonder if that's going to be a theme here. Yeah, okay, definitely unused. Let's see. It has been hinged. Overprinted Fiume. Looks like Hungary stamps originally. And so these all look like the same series here right at the beginning, these overprinted Hungary stamps. They look like different shades. At least like this one here versus this one. You guys can probably tell that's definitely a darker purple. The overprint is much bolder as well. I mean, it's noticeable to the naked eye. Interesting. Inconsistencies here with the overprint. So these should all be the same. These are also Hungary stamps. Now I don't know a whole lot about Fiume, but I am about to go up on the computer here and read a little something, just so that I can understand. This one says Franco Fiume. That's a line that's been surcharged. A little bit different than the other ones. So we have several of these. I see. So when he circles the number, that means how many. So we have 3 of these. And I guess they're all mint. Every time I look through this guy's albums, I'm always let down when I see that he wrote mint, but then somebody in the comments is like, you got to understand, back in the day, people would write mint even if it's hinged. You know, like this guy, clearly big old hinge mark. And they would write mint anyways, because it was common practice, you know, years and years ago to hinge album or hinge stamps. So, anyways, you know, you could have a mint stamp with a hinge and it's still mint. That's fine. In my mind, I'm just stuck on mint means post office fresh. Means there's not a mark on the gum. It's not bent. There's no defects. And so yeah, for me, mint means never hinged. In my head, that's just how I feel about it, but I get it. So these are not, okay, this one's not overprinted. Sorry, yeah, okay, these are not overprinted. These are now actually Fiume. So something must have happened historically. This is number 27. Where they finally, you know, got their own, they got established to be their own country or something. So before I go on, let's see if my theory is correct. Let me go and see if I can Google a little bit of info about the history of Fiume, where it is, what was going on. Obviously, they must be close to Hungary, so let me find out. Okay, so kind of a large introductory blurb here for Fiume. Anyway, let's just learn a little something about it. It is a city and surrounding territory on the Adriatic Sea. It's formerly part of Italy, about 8 square miles, so not very big. 45,000 population, estimated in 1924. Anyways, Fiume was under Habsburg rule after 1466 and was transferred to Hungarian control after 1870. It's of mixed Italian and Croatian population and strategically important. It was Hungary's only international seaport. Following World War I, Fiume was disputed between Italy and the newly created kingdom of the Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, later Yugoslavia. A force of Allied troops occupied the city in November 1918, while its future status was negotiated at the Paris Peace Conference. In September 1919, an Italian nationalist poet, and forgive me if I butcher this guy's name, Gabriele D'Annunzio, organized his legionnaires and seized Fiume, together with the islands of Arb, Carnaro, and Veglia, in the name of Italy. D'Annunzio established an autonomous administration, which soon came into conflict with the Italian government. There followed several years of instability, with 3 Italian interventions after 1920. In January 1924, the Treaty of Rome between Italy and Yugoslavia established formal Italian sovereignty over Fiume, and Fiume stamps were replaced by those of Italy after March 31st, 1924. Interesting. Okay. And there's also a little blurb up here to finish off this introduction section that I wanted to mention because I did find it interesting. So it says here, the overprints on numbers 1 to 23A have been extensively forged. Even the inexpensive values are difficult to find with genuine overprints. And so we're talking about these guys, 1 to 23 here, which are these designs, which are the earliest ones that we were just looking at in this album. It says forgeries of many later issues also exist, most created for the packet trade in the 1920s. Values are for genuine stamps. Collectors should be aware that stamps sold as is are likely to be forgeries, and unexpertized collections should be assumed to consist of mostly forged stamps. It says, education plus working with knowledgeable dealers is mandatory in this collecting area. More valuable stamps should be expertized. Wow, so forgery just runs rampant with these early overprints. How about that? And they did say even some later ones as well. So interesting. When I look at this right away, I noticed we did see one that had a bold overprint, which I was, questioning compared to the other ones that had a much less bold overprint. And so interesting to see that. And I wonder how many of them are forgeries. Well, anyway, let's go back to the album here. So overall, interesting. I did not know it had any relation to Italy whatsoever. So how about that? Whoopsie. And to know that probably all of these earlier ones are likely forgeries. Kind of sucks. It's like, oh man, what the heck? Well, I mean, so be it. Is what it is. That's history. There's no changing it, huh? So anyways, without spending too much time right here on this one little spot, let's kind of jump around. Now the Franco actually makes a little bit more sense to me. Franco 5. Yeah, what bothers me about a lot of these is unfortunately they've got thins or spots and, you know, defects, so you can see that. That's a bit of a bummer to me. And like I was saying, it bothers me because he wrote mint. I mean, even if it's got a hinge mark and you wrote mint, okay, but what about the thins and spots and stuff? I just have a feeling like this gentleman didn't, he just, I don't know. You know, stamp collecting goes very deep, and he didn't concern himself, perhaps, with all of the details, I guess, you know, when it comes to stamps. It's like, hey, it's mint or used, have a good day. That's how I'm going to sum it up in my brain, and that's how I'm going to make my stuff, and that's that. So, yeah. Okay. Well, this one's straight up ruined. He wrote you see that big chunk out of it? He wrote an X there, so that's appropriate. Franco 15 once again. Yeah. Fiume. Okay, here's a next design here. Another design, let's see. Number 73. Valor Global Cent 5. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Jeez. Creases out the wahoo. And big, giant, thin at the top. Gosh, that thing could be in much better condition. Oh, wow, yeah. That makes sense, the whole Italy thing. There's, the mother wolf feeding her babies. There's a name for that. Gosh darn it, I always forget that. Let's see what that is again, because it's going to bother me. I've seen that multiple times, and I always forget what it's called. Okay, he says number 74. Okay, so Wikipedia is saying that is the Capitoline wolf, and it is a bronze sculpture. Here, this guy. Bronze sculpture of, it's depicting a scene from the legend of the founding of Rome. The sculpture shows a she-wolf suckling the mythical twin founders of Rome. Let's see, Romulus and Remus. According to the legend, okay, well, I'm not going to get into the whole story of it, but that's, okay, so, Capitoline wolf, if I'm saying that correctly. Interestingly, actually, what this makes me think of is, so they just let out that newer Alien movie called Alien Romulus, and the ship was a big giant spaceship, and it had two sides to the ship. One side was called Remus, one side was named Romulus. So it must have been paying homage to this tale. Interesting. That's a weird connection. That's a very recent movie that a lot of you may not have seen. I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty good. But anyways, how about that? So, explains the story of the wolf and suckling the twin founders of Rome. The mythical twin founders. Yeah. Yeah, well, what thought just crossed my head? I'm like, I wonder if there's CTOs here. I don't know. That one's kind of a double strike in a way. You can see that line right there, right on the edge. It's like a double line. So that actually may be a real cancel. A little bit too imperfect to be a CTO. So this series continues here. There we go with Lear. Now we're in Lear territory here. That's definitely Italy. Just saying the word Italy makes me think of my Papal States collection, which I adore that collection. So we've got some red overprints, some black overprints. There's an interesting stamp here. It looks like a bunch of hands holding a bunch of knives. It's been surcharged. And it says Regenza Italiana del Carnaro. Okay. So we got this series here. Finishes up. They all mostly look used. We move on to this series, whatever this is. Okay, well, it looks like similar to the one above, but this is Governo Provvisoro. So probably an overprint, an official overprint would be what I would think. Just based off of the word governo. Government provision here. Okay, here we go with Capitoline. Oh my gosh. Capitoline. I said it right, I hope. Capitoline Wolf again. This one looks like a ship caught out in maybe rough seas. It's tilted, so. Yeah, I don't really know much about Fiume. I mean, what we just read is probably it. I've never really looked too much into it. I've definitely seen their stamps. Yeah, I never had any connection in my head to Italy. I don't know why. I don't know why it would be or it wouldn't be. I just didn't know anything about it. Yeah, definitely. And this one, different overprint. Costituente Fiumana. So I don't know what that is. Okay, I've definitely seen this stamp before. Just this design. I just remember it. Just seeing that one. So that's a... Okay, well that's the ship's end here, and then we start with, I guess, the next series, the next issue. Looks like this. What does it say at the top? Post de Fiume. Fiume? Post de Fiume? Fiume. Very well. This one says Tars Attica. Oh, by the way, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2025. So saying these ones have a value of about 60 cents. Yeah, you know, I told my coworkers this year, I said, I'm not going to say that it's going to be a good year because, you know, the last year that I did that I said to myself, this is going to be a good year. It was 2020, which ended up being like the worst year ever. I was like, yeah, man, 2020, nice, you know, even number, psychologically satisfying. Like, I just had good vibes. Like, 2020 is going to be a good year. And then everything happened. So that was definitely blew me away. I was like, wow, I can't believe that for whatever reason I just decided it was going to be a good year. And boy, it was not. So I'm not going to do that anymore. Truth is, you just never know. Okay, semi-postals here. This may be the last page of Fiume. We'll see as we continue on. Semi-postal stamps. Yeah, these are all similar design. Okay. Gosh, dang it. I mean, there's just a lot wrong with a lot of these. Not that every one has a problem, but I often find some kind of flaw with the stamps in here. Okay, so I think that's special delivery. I wish this stuff was a little bit more fresh in my mind. I'll be honest with you guys, I've been slacking a little bit. You may have noticed, making a video only every 2 weeks. Yeah, like I said last video, I've just been taking a little bit extra time for myself. It feels right, it feels good, and you know, I just want to be a happy guy, and so I'm just kind of naturally following whatever I feel like doing, and I just haven't been feeling like making a video every weekend. A part of it is it does take a good bit of time. I mean, it's not horrible, but it kind of between filming and editing and all that other baloney, uploading it, it takes like many hours. I mean, to create a video, especially for me. I don't make 10-minute videos. My videos are like 1 to 3 hours. Usually 1 to 2. And so just to film them takes that long, and then there's the uploading and then the editing, which I have to watch the whole thing. And then it just takes like a half a day or more sometimes altogether, just because I make such long form content. So yeah, I just don't always feel like committing that much of my, one of my precious little days off. Often I am, to be honest, lazy as could be, man, because I work hard. I'd like to just be lazy, literally just sit around, do nothing. So that's actually really cool. Surcharge / overprint here. It reminds me of a peacock. I wonder if that's what it's about. I don't know. That's what does it say? Sega. I'm having a hard time reading that. Okay, it must be the same as these other stamps. Segnatasi. Huh. That's a cool overprint. And that one actually is a semi-postal. Got them a little bit mixed up here, because we just went special delivery to semi-postal, but whatever. Like for me, just to speak so you guys can understand, when I get off of work on a Friday, I start doing laundry, I start cleaning, I start like trying to crank out every stupid chore or errand that I could possibly have to do, except for cooking. And then I call it good. I'm like, cool, all my cleaning chores, everything's done on Friday. Then Saturday, I like to cook, and I like to eat well. And I can actually spend a lot of time cooking. For example, yesterday, holy crap, I made like a oxtail stew with red beans and rice, and that's, I portion it out, and it's my lunch for the whole week. These are pretty cool. And then, so yesterday was like just tons of cooking, tons of dishes all day. I made lunch for the whole week and breakfast for the whole upcoming week. So like 66% of my meals are covered, because I bothered to do that. Which is just the way I like it to be. It's just, I like to be prepared. I don't want to have to every single day be like, ooh, what am I going to eat for lunch? Or every morning scrambling, trying to make, breakfast, and everything's already done, already made. Makes work and life a lot smoother for me, but I have to sacrifice most of a weekend day. And then Sunday should theoretically be my day to just chill out and soak it all up, just relax, just kick my feet up. And so that's generally what I've been doing on the weekends that I don't make a video. Like here it's Sunday morning, so I have a choice. It's just like, what do I feel like doing? Do I want to make a stamp video, or do I want to just relax and veg out? And so I'm trying to find the balance of that. Before I lost my job and had to get a new job and all this other stuff that happened this last year, that it was a hellish year for me, honestly. I'm not sure where I was headed with that. What was my point with that? Before last year happened, pretty much, like the first couple of years I made this channel, I just had a lot more stability working at my family-owned shop. I've been, there for, 15 years or whatever, and I had my routine, had my cycle. There's just, things were solid for me. I didn't have a lot of wonder. I had a lot more free time. I'm working longer hours now than I kind of ever had to, unfortunately. And so, yeah, anyway, without blabbing forever, that's what's going on. Call it me being selfish. I'm fine with that. I just want some more me time, you know? Just to live life, just to relax. Not that this is a chore, I don't enjoy it, it's just I am surprisingly lazy. You wouldn't know it, but yeah, I'm surprisingly lazy, especially when it comes to my one day off. So anyways, that's the explanation. Just so you guys can understand a little bit of the reality of my life. I just don't have that much free time, and so yeah. You know, I'd be honest with you. Blatantly obvious. I would totally have more free time, but I like to drink after I get off of work. I have myself a nice glass of whiskey, and so between whiskey and eating dinner and all that, I have no desire to touch stamps in between there right now. So I'm always just like trying to diffuse after work and relax. And yeah, so on the weekdays I don't really have a lot of stamp activity, at least anymore. So it's just life, you know. I'm 35 at this point, and you know, the older I get, the more I think about just wanting to be happy as much as possible. As if, you know, that's not like, I always thought that when I was younger, I thought that was kind of a dumb goal, like just to be happy. Like, it seems so simple and like juvenile, you know. I mean, shouldn't you want more out of life than simply to be happy? Well, I don't know. My views on this world and life, and you know, whether there's a God or not, and you know, just reality here. The older I get, the more I start to think that really being happy is probably just about all you can frickin' really ask for, you know? That's really all that you could hope to expect, quite frankly. So I'm just trying to find happiness my own way. And right now that's a little bit more me time. Anyways, this is Ryukyu. So I hadn't realized because I was blabbing. But we switched over to Ryukyu now, so a bunch of different Ryukyu stamps. That's funny. I was going to say, it looks like a pencil that's a rocket ship, and it is. Interesting. 1957 says Ryukyu Press Association. Rocket ship pencil. It's actually not in bad shape. Fairly large $4 ones here. What do they look like on the back? Multiple hinges, it looks like. Or maybe just one big hinge with some paper remnants on there. That's probably what's going on. 80 cents per stamp. This one's cool. It has the selvage. Oh yeah, so of course I want to hop on the computer real quick. We'll learn a little bit about the Ryukyu Islands. I think that they're associated with Japan. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. Yeah. That's cool. Nice looking stork. So I live here in Virginia, and oh, sorry, I was a little fast. I live here in Virginia, and oddly enough, every now and then, I see some storks fly overhead, and it's probably like once a year. I look up, I go, oh, a bird. I'm like, oh crap, it's a stork. You know, they're just kind of awkward looking. I can tell when they're flying. It's their big giant neck and all that. And I'm always blown away. I'm like, wow, a stork. What the heck's a stork doing way out here? It's not like I'm right next to the bay or anything, you know. So they're probably just migrating. Looks like a dove sitting on a stack of books. Oh yeah, okay. So let me look up Ryukyu Islands real quick. Let's learn about it. Okay, so the Ryukyu, I think I've been saying it wrong. I've been saying Ryukyu, but it's Ryukyu. Ryukyu Islands. What even says there? I never really tried to read this. Ryukyu Island. Okay, anyway. Chain of 63 islands between Japan and Formosa, separating the East China Sea from the Pacific Ocean. The government is semi-autonomous under United States administration. Population was about 945,000 in 1970, 848 square miles. Capital is Naha, Okinawa. I've heard Okinawa. So it says here, the Ryukyus were part of Japan until American forces occupied them in 1945. The islands reverted to Japan May 15th, 1972. Before the general issue of 1948, a number of provisional stamps were issued. These included a mimeographed hand-stamped adhesive for Fiume Island. Is it Fiume or Fiume? Probably Fiume. And various current stamps of Japan hand-stamped with chops by the postmasters of Okinawa, Amami, Miyako, and Yayama. Although authorized by American authorities, these provisionals were local in nature, so are omitted in the listings that follow. They are listed in the Scott United States Specialized Catalog. Interesting. Well, I have that. Anyways, I actually originally I went to the Scott catalog here, and I was looking through my catalogs for R, and I was looking for Ryukyu, and couldn't find it. And I'm like, what the heck? And so I actually Googled it, and they said that it was formerly the U.S. had it. So I went to the U.S. section and actually searched for Ryukyu with my electronic catalog here, and just took me right to it. Gotta love that part of the online catalog. Okie dokie. Let's take a look at some of these little turtles. 1966. That's cool. More turtles. That's actually really cool. I like it. Some kind of plant. This stamp here says the World United Against Malaria. Let's get rid of malaria, you guys. I think we can all agree we could do without it. God, and I hate mosquitoes. Man, I watched a video. They took I think you call it macro photography or whatever. They were very up close. I don't know how they did it, but they were able to actually show a mosquito sucking blood up close, and you can see its appendages pierce into your skin and all that other stuff. Whoop. They are nasty little things. I don't like mosquitoes at all. I mean, of course, they're pretty obviously annoying with the scratching, but after I figured out exactly what they do and how they suck your blood and all that stuff in detail, I was like, ugh, God, those things are the worst. So many people die from them too. Little block of 4 here. That's kind of neat. It says 133, block of 4, mint. Well, they generally look pretty good, actually. Small defects, little baby creases and stuff. It's not too bad. It's not truly mint. This is unfortunately unused, is how I would classify that. That's weird. This looks like Boy Scouts. Listen, that's what my guts tell me without looking it up. I have to try to train my tongue to say this correctly. I'm sure I'm going to mess it up a million times still, but Ryukyus instead of Ryukyu. That extra Y at the end. More turtles. Yeah, being islands, I'm sure they'll have some pretty cool wildlife stamps. Cool looking bird, 66. Is this some kind of fish? I guess it's a seal. A really weird looking head on it. My brain is trying to figure out the head on this seal. I'm assuming it's a seal. It's a very weird looking picture. Looks like a woodpecker. If that is a woodpecker, which I think it is, it looks like it. I learned not long ago the reason the woodpecker like doesn't get brain damage is because its tongue actually wraps all the way around its brain inside of its skull. From the mouth, it like wraps all the way around up to around to the back of the top of the head, and is basically like a shock absorber, like a cushion, so he can just bang his little brains out on a tree and not actually hurt his head. And then his tongue being so long, since it wraps around his skull, he can stick it out fairly long too into the holes that he's pecked to reach the little bugs and stuff like that. Like, whoa. I had never actually thought about that. It was some nature video that I saw that. I was like, they're right. How does he not mess up his brain? Like, how does a woodpecker not get a freaking concussion? And that would be how. That looks like a clownfish, I think. I think that's what you call those, clownfish? Oh yeah, just a whole bunch of different tropical fish here. Looks like a puffer fish. Seeing all these fish, that reminds me of, I can't remember if it was, I think it was Florida or something, I'm not sure to be honest, but somewhere, unfortunately, lionfish, the ones with the spines, they got released into some habitat somewhere, like somebody dumped off like 6 of them into the ocean, and they have survived, and they've like thrived, and now they're plaguing, unfortunately, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think it was Florida, they're plaguing all their reefs and their fish and sea life there. So there's constant spear fishermen running around just spearing the heck out of them, and they've gotten really good at cooking them up, and you just gotta cut their barbs off and cook them properly, and you won't get sick or hurt by them. But since they literally have no natural predators, so in the whole food chain they're screwing with everything, and even the spearfishers, they swim over them. The fish don't even try to run away. They think, I guess they reason that the fish assume their barbs are protection enough, and they're not used to being hunted and speared, so the people that do go out there and hunt for them, they have no problem just filling a big bag every time with these lionfish. So I found that interesting. But a cool note about that was that they know that it must have been like only about 6 or so fishes, because they've been genetically testing the ones that they catch, and almost all of them are related to like the same 6 fish. Like, wow, 6 fish, Holy crap, that's all it took. Now they're everywhere. I thought that was going to be some kind of animal. It looks like he's planting rice plants, perhaps. At least from the things that I've seen in the past, that looks like probably what he's doing, rice fields. Ew, where was that? I think that was right here. Delicate little stamps. Get in there, buddy. Okay. These are pretty stamps, aesthetically, when I'm looking at them. I do like them. A lot of different designs. This one's got the gold foil going on. Pretty cool looking plants. That's actually a pretty good looking stamp. Like overall, when I look at the page, I'm liking the variety. This might sound screwed up to the German people, but it's always what I think of is earlier German stamps, like, I don't know, 30s, 50s, whatever. When I, sorry to say, think about probably some of the most boring stamps that I've seen. Just the designs are boring, the colors are boring. I just find them monotonous. Just like, ugh. Like, I just look at a page of some German stamps and it's like, ugh. Like, they're no fun to me. Versus when I look at a tropical place or something like that, all these vibrant colors and different wildlife and cool scenes, and somehow in my head, those German stamps just like became the benchmark for me mentally when I overall assess my feelings on the aesthetics of a country's stamps. I kind of always bounce them off of those German stamps in my mind. And so it's not actually very hard for me to find a country that I'm like, yeah, I think these are a little bit more, vibrant and have better designs than the German stamps that I'm thinking about all the time. They just kind of became the benchmark for it in my head of what I would consider to be boring stamps, at least aesthetically. And so sorry, Germans. There are other countries that have somewhat boring stamps to me too. Not that there isn't rich history or anything else behind it, just strictly aesthetics. Which is a fairly good part of this hobby. I mean, what we're really constantly doing is looking at them, for one thing. Not all, but that's one thing that we for sure are always doing, is getting a good look at them. And those German stamps, whew. Anywho, there's some German stamps I do like, but there's like a certain time period I just like, oh, boring. Okay, so I guess that was the end. Okay, sorry, I get caught in my thoughts. These are airmails. So we finished off with, this is a little airmail section here. Is that a dragon? What? Some of these I am not sure what they are. Like, what is that? What is that? I don't know what that is. I thought it was a dragon, but the more I look at it, I'm like, maybe this is like a mythic figure or a god, like some kind of dragon man up in the sky, kind of wearing a dragon costume. The more I look at that one, the more it looks like it's actually a man, like a bipedal human being. Okay, anyways, some totally random ones here. An aerogram, he says. Neat. Yeah, this will be the first one of these I've seen in here. Cut out from an aerogram. Nippon. Every time I see the word Nippon, for whatever reason, I think of ramen noodles. Probably because it is associated with Japan. Nippon. Not that Nippon itself means, I don't know if it's Nippon or Nippon. It's probably a very American way of me saying that. Nippon. It's probably Nippon. Not that Nippon means ramen noodles, but in my head it triggers, that's Japanese, and when I think Japanese, I think ramen noodles. I love me a good bowl of ramen. Okay, Ethiopia. Okay. Switched over. So number 4 here. So pretty early Ethiopian stamp. Actually looks in pretty good shape. Definitely been hinged. Oh no, never mind. I think that's a thin there, or at least the gum got peeled off a little bit. So number 4, number 6, number 7. Wow, this one is way off center. It's so far off center that the perfs on this side seem to have black ink. Excuse me, I had a little burp there. They have black ink as if they were beginning the edge of the stamp next to them's design. Yeah, that thing's way off center. Interesting. Okay, these look interesting to me. Like these, like this one here. Try to be delicate. Ew, this one has a big old hole punched in it. Bummer. That's a huge defect there. Defect. He did say fault, so fair enough. But yeah, whatever these overprints are, they're interesting to me. It's just an interesting looking stamp. This is actually the kind of stamp that I look at it and I'm like, let me learn a little bit about that, because what's the history and bloody bloody. 11/2/1917 for this overprint. Man, this thing is in poor condition. Holy moly. Yeah, especially with the hole. What a bummer. Okay, I was thinking these were all the same, but they're actually different designs. Here we have some guy. And as far as their money, it looks like it says 2 guerches. And you're going to have to go ahead and forgive me if I mispronounce that, because I'm not sure how to say that. But see, this one's pretty clear down at the bottom. 8 guerches. 1917 overprints in this little series here. They do have different designs, but it seems like the same overprint, same series. Oh, I don't know. Overprints are similar. I'm looking at, like, see this one, it says, it almost looks like a 166 up at the top, whereas the other ones is a little bit different. I don't see a 66 here. Oh, whatever. And so we're already in the hundreds in Scott numbers here with these. This is pretty cool. I like that one. Yeah, these are cool. Ooh, gosh darn it. Big old flaw right there. It's like a huge thin. The gum is completely missing. Oh, we have giraffes. Actually, a fair bit of them here. This is like at least 5 or something. Oh, okay, he wrote 4. Okay. Giraffes, Ethiopia. Then we have, looks like a jaguar. I don't know if it's a leopard or a jaguar, but it's got the spots. Might be a leopard. Not sure. Not sure. The only thing I'm sure of is that I'm not sure. Then we looks like a bunch of different rulers here. Number 126. Some kind of building. So as I'm looking at these, what is crossing my mind? What are these? Are these oh my god. What is wrong with me? I was gonna say geese. Ostriches. Jesus. Geese. A little bit too big. Don't they have the biggest egg on the planet? Am I wrong? I feel like I'm wrong. But I also feel like I'm right. Let me find out. Yes, so they're the largest of all eggs. Although they're actually the smallest relative to the size of the adult bird. Interesting. Well, just I wanted to make sure I had that little trivia correct in my head. I could have sworn it was ostriches. Yeah, I've watched videos of people cook them. Pretty hard to crack that shell. It's big. Anyway, when I think about Ethiopian, when I'm looking at these Ethiopia stamps, what's crossed my mind is Ethiopian food. Oh, that's cool. Like a water buffalo. And I don't have a lot of experience with Ethiopian food. I'm sure I've had some. But like when I go to like food delivery online and I'm looking to order some food, I do have Ethiopian options. And when I browse their menus, I'll be honest with you guys, like brutally honest, it looks like a bunch of either throw up or diarrhea on the plate. I mean, I'm sure it tastes good. I'm sure, it probably tastes good. I'm sure it tastes better than it looks, let's say. But when I'm looking at the pictures of the Ethiopian cuisine that I'm about to potentially order, I always in my head I'm just like, ugh, this looks like a plate of slop. It looks like pig slop, I don't know. So I usually stray away from Ethiopian food because I think it's going to look very similar coming out as when it goes in. It just doesn't look very appetizing to me, at least the stuff that I've seen. But, maybe I should open my heart and give it a shot. Maybe I should, don't knock it till you try it, right? Can't judge a book. Yeah. I mean, here, I love me, I love curry. Like, that's something that's developed over life for me, over my life, is a strong love for curry. Oh, man. Curry with basmati rice or some really good garlic naan with some raita. Whew. That stuff is Flavor Town, man. Just packed with flavor. It's so good. Something about taking garlic naan and sopping up a really spicy curry with it. Man, that is just so delicious. I love lamb. I love goat, chicken, all that. I don't usually get paneer, but anyway, a little bit off subject here. Anyway, yeah, I love curry, but for some reason, when I look at Ethiopian food, I don't feel that affinity. But I should probably open my heart up and give it a shot. I just don't want to waste $40 on an order and go, yep, it was disgusting like I thought. Just got to take the chance. So some kind of royalty here on pretty much all of these for the most part. This guy's on a horse. Memeliki. I'm not sure if it's Memeliki or Memelik II. Down at the bottom of the oval. I'm kind of curious about what this one is. Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. Some sort of riverway? Waterway? I'm not even sure that riverway is even a word. Is that even a thing? Maybe it is. Riverway? Oh my god. That's a random question here. It's going to bother me. Hold on. Okay, this is a real word. Riverway. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it says it's a river used to convey traffic. Alright. A riverway. I wasn't sure if I just made that up or not. Anyway, so there's a whole buttload of stamps on this page. This is a very pretty series. I like the colors. Some sort of royalty. Probably the same guy over and over. In most of these. For all I know. Interesting down at the bottom. Croix. I'm pretty sure that's a French word. And you say croix? Like, we have a bubbly drink called La Croix here in the U.S. It's like a sparkling flavored mineral water or something. Croix Rouge. Even rouge sounds French to me. So there may very well be some French influence here. I'm trying to read what this guy said. Something about a set. $4.10. This group is he just? He might be actually just listing like the. Maybe this is all a set, and he's actually bothered to list that. I'm not sure. He usually doesn't do that. I do want to. We will go onto my computer here and learn a little bit about Ethiopia. Gosh, here we go. These Manila stock pages, man. It's one of my only problems. I know they're acidic. That's like my main issue for long-term archival safe storage is that they're acidic. Of course, I always mention that. But sliding the stamps into these little rows, it's so easy to bend perfs back. Look at that corner perf, just perfectly bent back. I mean, my guts tell me that happened when he slid the stamp in. I've done that with these pages, bending perfs, just trying to slide them into the rows, So it looks like a whole series here. It's got whatever royalty up in the corner is portrait. So beautiful scenery in this series. It says at the bottom, Aiba Prez Mai Tacheo. Oh boy, if I pronounce that right, I deserve a prize. So he's probably their president. There you go. There, once again, freaking corner. Just bent right up. Darn, man. Ugh. I swear that has to be these pages. Now, these pages being acidic, I don't think it's a huge deal, but yeah, in the long run, that's bad. But you know, for like a novice stamp collector, somebody who just doesn't have a lot of money, doesn't want to buy Vario pages, it's really hard to beat the value you get for these manila stock pages, you know. So anyway, yeah, I will say, yeah, I like the different colors. I mean, like when I look at this page, there's definitely a nice array of colors, and they're not like just plain boring either. Like this is brown, but this is some kind of, I don't know how it shows in the camera, but to the naked eye, this is some kind of weird shade of brown. It's almost a little orange. So it's nice color shades, you know, like you could say this is red, but it isn't really red. Like it's, I don't know if it's carmine, you know, like lake rose. I mean, somewhere in there, they've chosen interesting shades for these colors. They're somewhat tropical to me, even for Ethiopia, looking at them. They give off something of a tropical vibe. I usually just don't see such colorful stamps except for a tropical area, tropic area, you know. So anyway, but yeah, I'm a big fan of color. A good color palette on stamps. Like I like that. I like this. You know, it's a nice vibrant orange and a pretty healthy deep brown. Like it's cool. It's just nice that they did that. Crap. Where did I take that from? Oh boy. Crap. I didn't pay enough attention. I'm going to put it there. Well, I'll get to see when I edit this if I put it in the right spot. Interesting on this one, the portrait now has a man and a woman. This is some kind of, I don't know, port? There's English on here. I can read it. Hold on. The way which leads us to see, and then the postmark screws it up. Let's see if I can find one. Okay, so they seem to have different writing on different stamps. The way which leads us to the sea is free. Interesting. So that's what that says. Huh. Okay, these are cool. Alright, let's keep cruising. This is going to be a long video unless I pick up the pace a little bit. So, it's going to be a long video no matter what, I'm sure. Ethiopia. Oh yeah, let's learn a little bit about Ethiopia. There goes my phone again. Let me learn something about it. Or let's learn something about it together. How about that? Okie dokie. Ethiopia in the Horn of Africa is a rugged, landlocked country split by the Great Rift Valley, with archaeological finds dating back more than 3 million years. It's a place of ancient culture. Among its important sites are Lalibela, with its rock-cut Christian churches from the 12th to 13th centuries. Aksum is the ruins of an ancient city with obelisks, tombs, castles, and Our Lady Mary of Zion Church. Interesting. For whatever reason, instead of looking this up in the Scott catalog, I apparently chose to use Google this time, but this is why I like Google. You get to see the pictures. That's pretty cool. Oh man, volcanoes. Man, it's beautiful. The Horn of Africa, huh? So I just got texted that I'll start work late tomorrow. Gosh darn it. There you go. There's this pretty bad winter storm here that's just about to hit us. And so there we go, complications at work. It is what it is. They said that we're going to start at 10 a.m. tomorrow instead of my at least current usual start is 7:30. Okay, that's really cool. I like that. That's really nice. And that so far we're deciding, we're planning for 10, but they're gonna reassess in the morning if we're just gonna have to take the day off. It actually seems like a pretty bad storm, so I don't know if they're gonna pay me either. Let me tell you what I don't need is a missed day's wages. Yeah, please spare me, God. I have enough bills to pay. I barely make it as it is. Alright, I'm not going to worry about it. But it's kind of cool. I get to sleep in a little bit extra. Mosque at Massawa. I have actually had some friends that were Ethiopian, or at least of Ethiopian descent, in school. So I have personally known some Ethiopians. Although, yeah, I really do question if they actually immigrated here or if they were just born here. I feel like they were just born here and they're probably second generation or third generation Americans with Ethiopian heritage. I don't know any of them anymore, but isn't that kind of the case, kind of the deal with friends in high school? It's one by one, they all seem to drop away. We all just follow our own path. The centenary of the International Telecommunication Union. Interesting. So I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit because we are not moving through this album very fast at all. So let me just kind of keep cruising. We'll just kind of generally assess what's in this thing. Simeon Fox. This actually, the whole series looks like it's just a fox. And let's see what we have. Okay, the flag of Ethiopia. Alrighty. A little gold foil action on this as well. That's pretty. Here we go again with the fox. They love their fox. Oh my goodness. There's actually a lot of Ethiopian stamps in this album. Here we've got the Red Cross symbol on these. That's cool. Yeah, I like it. Empire of Ethiopia. Oh, these are semi-postals. Okay. We've made it to semi-postals already. Huh. Okay, this is airmail. These ones now. Avion Mesra Tafari. Collective Security. Ethiopia Airmail. Cool bird. Steganura orientalis. Number C78. Huh. Yeah, I would definitely understand them having a lot of different animals and birds. I mean, if they're in Africa, having that stuff on their stamps. That makes perfect sense. They always have such awesome animals over there. I do feel bad about the white rhino. It's a shame. I'm pretty sure that one's in Africa. I don't know where else it would be, but I was hearing about the white rhino. The last white rhino in existence. It still makes me feel some kind of way. Okay, that's a special delivery, actually. What it must be like. I mean, I know that. I mean, I don't know. I know animals can think and feel, but they're not objective. I mean, do animals even know that they're alive? And anyway, what it would be like to know that you're the last of your species in existence? Like, if I knew I was the last human, oh my god. I get like a tiny little pit in my stomach just trying to empathize with what that experience must be like, having that epiphany, like, oh my god. Okay, these are your postage dues, so that's cool. Okay, he wrote here, lower left corner has a nick. Well, he wrote it under this one. Oh, yeah. Definitely. You guys can see that. That thing's nicked as could be. Okay, this one has caught my eye because I find the overprint pretty neat. Weird rounded triangle with a T. Postus Ethiopians. So it's also a postage due. Interesting overprint on that. Post-colonial Italian, and it is like this one's number N5. I think that means occupation stamp. Italian occupation? Is that right? I could look it all up. I don't really want to, but okay, Vatican City. All right, so we switched over. All right, Vatican. Wow, number 1. He's got number 1, 2, and 3 here. From the Vatican. Okay, hinged and writing on the back. There's your number 1 from the Vatican. Very cool. It's nice that he has those. Now I have them. Yep, hinged. Same design. That's cool. 1, 2, and 3, and then he jumps over to 9. I feel like I've seen this one before. 1.25 lire. I had to shut my phone off. They sent me a group message about that starting late tomorrow stuff, and now everybody's like, are we getting paid? Are you sure? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I keep getting text messages, so I don't know about you guys, but I almost never am a fan of being included in a group chat or a group text, because then I just get notification after notification, and it's everybody else talking. It has nothing to do with me. Trying to be gentle here. Okay, cool. Hey, looks like a Pope. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I love my Papal States collection. I like Italian stamps, but the Vatican, I don't know. See, I'm not religious. I'm not very big on religion. I have my opinions on them, which is, my opinions are not very favorable for religion, although I think there are some merits to being religious, as like a guideline to be a decent human being, but I don't take religion literally like a lot of people do. So when it comes to Vatican stamps, they don't really strike my fancy, because it's like, why would somebody who doesn't believe in God or is not religious, why would I why would I be all about, stamps of the Pope and stuff like that? I just don't really care. But, everybody's allowed their opinion. I mean, I'm not against religion. I forget what you call me. I think agnostic. I think that agnostic is the right way to describe me. Crap, I'm sorry, I haven't thought about this stuff for a little while. I forget. There's atheist, which there's some kind of crap that came out of it. It's gross. It looks like a mouse turd. Ew. These pages are actually a little bit gross. Anyway, so there's atheists, which I think is they just simply don't believe in God, and then I think that there's agnostics, and agnostics basically don't know. Like, we're not disputing that there could be a God. We're not saying there is. Like, we're indifferent. Like, we just don't know. Literally, just don't know. That's my approach. I think if I'm right, then I think that describes me probably the best truth. I mean, I try to govern myself by my own personal truths, and in all honesty, I just can't say if there is one or not. I have no proof, but I don't want to get into religion here because that's quite a rabbit hole, and people get all emotional about it and all this other stuff. People take it so seriously, but so these are pretty cool looking. They're actually a pretty good size as well. Okay, I'm not even going to try to read that. I hope you guys don't mind me just kind of blabbing out my thoughts. I used to actually get a little bit insecure about that when I first started this channel, like just talking out loud, just sharing my thoughts. I had a lot of people be like, dude, don't be insecure about that. Just enjoy yourself. Be you. We watch you because we like you and your personality and, the stamps and all that other stuff. So don't be insecure about it. I was like, thanks, Appreciate it. It was part of me like, why would anybody care what I think about anything? But, whatever. I have to say I have gotten more confident since doing this. If you're a super shy person who's insecure, public speaking is probably like the worst thing you could ever do. But this is some kind of weird in between public speaking, making a YouTube video, because it's public for the whole freaking world potentially. But there's actually nobody right here in front of me that I'm looking in their eyes and speaking to. So it's a weird in between. Yeah. I guess. Never really thought about that. Anyways. Guardia Svizzera Pontificia? It says Capitano G. Roust. Roust? 1527. Man. Sometimes it does hit me, like just the thought, like it strikes me sometimes, every now and then. I never know when it's going to happen either. That just the idea of how old this stuff is, and it is surprising to me even that these stamps can be so old and not have any value. It's amazing to me. But, like we're always saying, it's not about the value. It's, everything else that comes along with it. Sometimes it's a value. If you got something valuable, then, hey, it's about the value. But, most of these aren't, right? But, yeah, I mean, just thinking of, gosh, way back in 1840, and when the first, adhesive postage stamp came out, and then that's the first adhesive postage stamp. That there was all these stampless letters. I mean, we still had a postal system and stuff in the world. Just like, for example, my Papal States collection, that has a buttload of stampless letters, and I mean, that stuff goes back to 1600s and 1700s and blah blah. I mean, that stuff's like, whoa, super old, so old. To think that it's survived, a delicate little piece of paper, has survived through hundreds and hundreds of years to end up in an album on my shelf. It's amazing. And I'd say that's credited to former stamp collectors and collectors, just people that bothered to save these things throughout time and protect them. I like that. It's very cool. And I like that I might potentially be doing the same thing, what was, I'm trying to jog my memory. Instead of stamps on those early Papal States covers, they were, I think, franked. They were frankings instead of stamps, and the franking was what paid the postage. If I'm not mistaken, sorry if I am, but I believe that I'm right, that those stampless letters were franked, is what was going on, and which is basically an ink stamp, It's like they take like a ink stamp that says the number 5, and they go stamp the letter with a 5, and that means that you basically have postage paid. But since there was no stamps, it's not a, you don't say the stamp's been canceled. There is no stamp. You just say the letter has been franked. So if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But I think that is actually how that works. Used to work, at least. Yeah, and the Papal State stamps had the same, I believe they had the same image with these keys. I don't actually know what the keys signify. Any of these questions that ever pop up in my head, I, of course, could always just simply go and look it up. But oftentimes, you guys, you viewers, are nice enough to comment in the comments section and let me know what they are. There was a point where I did learn what those keys meant. I just can't recall right now. Anno Mondiale del Rifugiato. God. It just feels so unnatural trying to roll this stuff off my tongue, man. I tell you what. What is that? Jeez. Looks like the Pope entered the party here with a big explosion behind him or something. It almost looks like a female. I think it's actually a female. I'm not sure what that is. Who that is, let's say. Thaumaturga. Okay, don't even try, Kyle. Just don't even. Where was that? Crap. I didn't. Once again, I just didn't. I think it was like right here or something. Right here? I just didn't take good enough note. Let's try here. That one actually has writing. Yeah, I think it went here. I gotta try to keep track of where I take them from. So 303 here. S. Leo Magnus. There is so much to learn from stamps. If, like, let's say, if the human species ended, became extinct, and aliens came to Earth and found a stamp collection, they could actually learn a whole lot about our history just from stamp collection. Kind of a weird thought, but anyway, so yeah, a whole bunch of Vatican Post stamps here. We got the Pope. I'm just kind of scanning around. Yeah, I don't know anything about these women. Like, I just don't know anything about them. Oop. Like, who is she? Is she famous? Blah, blah, blah. I just don't know. No idea. This is a nice little album, though. I mean, I don't know what expectations I had, but I think it's exceeded my expectations. It's actually not bad at all. A piece of paper there. Get out of here. This is actually, like, fairly well filled out. It seems like they're in numeric order for the most part. It is nice to have them identified, although I can't really trust the guy 100%. I've definitely learned that. That's kind of a rule, and like, just a general rule. I mean, you can't just trust what somebody's written. They easily could have misidentified it, any of these stamps. But this guy specifically, I've proven many, many, many times that he has misidentified stamps. So I have to be very careful with this guy. Whoever on this, I forgot his name. Gosh darn it! I did mention him in a video. Yeah, that was part of the allure for me when I was thinking of buying this collection. This, whatever this was like 6 big boxes or something, 7 boxes. I can't remember anymore. That was just a big point for me, was that he had it had been identified. It wasn't just a accumulation, you know. It wasn't just some big massive box of randomness and bags of mixed stamps and all that, you know. I wanted to have some kind of freaking order to this collection before I bought it, and it had that. It does have that. I like the selvage, it's cool. Probably water. Little waves on water or something. Huh. Okay, well, these look actually kind of interesting to me. Let's take a look at this. 545. Okay, probably some kind of cathedral. It says Santa... Oh gosh, Hypsipyle. Why do I even bother? But the clouds, the white clouds, they sort of shine. It's not like gold foil or anything, but I don't know. At least to my naked eye in front of me, I find the clouds are very cool. That's how I feel about them. Same for the whatever white clouds or something that's above this guy's head. I just like the way they look. So yeah, we have a little piece of a cover. Now, I just Googled this real quick because I wanted to know. I found it interesting, like Paulus PP the Sixth. It almost made it seem like it was written to a pope, and it seems like it was. According to Google here, Wikipedia, Pope Paul VI was head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican City state from the 21st of June, 1963 to his death on the 6th of August, 1978. So about 15 years, this guy was actually Pope. He's written here, numbers, looks like, I don't know, 365. Oh, they're a pair. Okay, so number 365/40, maybe that means 40 cents, that they're a pair. They do look to be the same stamp. 6164. Oh, wow. So this would have been like the guy's second year as Pope. And this airmail, I'm guessing, because of the checkered border. What I'm trying to understand while I'm looking at this is I'm like, I guess that would be a return address there. But then it's written to the Pope. That should be, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Like even what it would have been if it was intact. I mean, if the stamps go at the top right, then this must be the top right of the envelope. So maybe this isn't a return address. This might just be part of the cancellation, like just I don't know, additional ink stamp on there. I mean, clearly that's the actual postal use cancellation here. I mean, it comes off to me like this, like the black. Sorry for the focus. Like the black ink would have been the where it was sent to. My brain just wants me to believe the blue ink is the return address, but I guess maybe that's not the case. So if the black ink really is where it was sent to, then that means that this would be a letter that was sent to the Pope. That's actually quite an interesting little piece there. Nothing on the back. Yeah. You know, like if this was, I mean, it's obviously cut off. It's not the whole thing, but I mean, if this was like really tiny, like let's say there was only just a little bit missing on the bottom, then this would be a pretty small little cover to begin with, and they would just have to cram it all on here. Very weird. I like it. I want to fully understand it. I could spend more time really thinking about it. This thing makes me think that it was only this wide because of the design on the border, this checker design. I mean, it really makes me think that this is actually originally how wide this was, because that has the yellow checker and this one has the red checkered side. The design there on the edge. So yeah, maybe it all just had to be crammed in there. Anyways, I actually quite like that. That was cool. I enjoyed that. If it really was sent to the Pope, that's awesome. Like I said, even though I'm not religious or whatever, I don't have some huge affinity for religion. When it comes to stuff that's like, you know, was written by the Pope or to the Pope or sent to the Pope, whatever, any of that, I find that fascinating. That's very cool because they are, you know, high up figures. And I already have a letter that was written by the Pope, well, one of the popes, which is, honestly, it strikes me in my guts. Like, I love it. I just love it. You get really, like, in my heart or whatever. It's like super cool. It's just cool. The cool factor goes up when it's actually the Pope. You know, when the Pope is involved. That's pretty neat. So potentially somebody sent an airmail letter to the Pope. That's my best guess on that. Anyways. Okay, well, I'm not going to linger on here. That looks like Jesus, actually. Oh, it says Christ on there. I was going to say, it just looks like his head. Okay. Moving on. More Vatican. This looks, whatever that is, that looks quite valuable. Almost looks like a jewelry box or something. 1979. We have one of the popes. I don't know. And what are these? Angelo Secchi. Says on the right side. Then at the bottom left it says IPS Roma 1978. That's a colorful stamp right there. Yeah, see, a lot of the stamps just have the Pope. Interesting, these ones. Silver foil and then gold foil. Can you guys see the pretty reflection there? And this one's silver. The actual letters. Man, it makes for a pretty stamp, I gotta say. It's very pretty. What is this? Okay, well, I'm not going to show that up close. She looks like a little girl. For some reason, her robe is actually below her navel there. So, to avoid being demonetized, let me keep the underage kid, the naked underage kid, out of my video as much as possible. Maybe. I don't think they would demonetize me for that, though. I mean, that's the innocence of youth there. I mean, come on, you know. But anyways, I learned my lesson with nudity on this channel for my nude art stamp collection. That was, I think that is, and is today, still my only strike on my channel. I think if you get 3 strikes on YouTube, you're out. They shut your channel down. And you have to start all over or whatever. And I got that strike fairly early on, that first one, and I was like, oh, what the heck. Was not happy to see that. I was like, gosh darn it, you know. Because my nude art stamp collection, like, it's not vulgar, you know. I realize that they're nude, but it's artistic, you know, a lot of it. And so I just didn't think it was going to be an issue. Because, if I'm not mistaken, I think nude art is accepted on YouTube. Even like educational nudity, like breastfeeding tutorial video or something like that is actually allowed on YouTube. So, you know, you can see a nipple on YouTube, you know, but it's just whatever the purpose is for the nudity. It just has to be something legitimate or accepted by YouTube's terms and conditions and whatnot. So, anyways, and a bunch of stuff. All right, let's keep moving here. We're getting there. We still have several pages left, but we're getting close. Pontificia Accademia del Scienza. Ah, some kind of science academy. I don't have to speak Italian to be able to ascertain that. It's cool. It could be a college even. Ugh, I feel those perfs touching each other. Ugh. For a stamp collector, that's I don't like that feeling. That one's used. Alright, let's keep cruising. What do we have here? Okay, airmail now. This is actually C1, so this is the first airmail for the Vatican. Pretty cool. There we go. Mint hinged. And then C2, a dove. Ooh. C6, same design. Okay. Let's see here. C15, we get a little bit different design. Oh no, it looks like the top of churches or something, and they have the cross and the doves flying by. Vatican Air Post. Bunch of different towers and stuff. That actually gives a pretty good view. It's cool. Nice aerial view. What is this guy doing here? I don't know what he's doing. He's blowing into some really long rod or pipe. Okay. Here we are again. These guys are also blowing into the same long pipe with that guy at the top. The tip of my tongs there. Okay. Okay, so we missed the special delivery stamps. And it says espresso on there. I think E is special delivery, not something else. Pretty confident in that. I just have that memorized from American stamps, from United States stuff. Some of my more favorite U.S. stamps are special delivery stamps from the U.S. They're pretty cool. I like the ones from the U.S. because they show the passage of time, and on United States special delivery stamps, it started with a guy with a mail bag running with your mail, and then it became horseback, and then it became automobiles, and you can kind of see that transition throughout history on the stamps, which I like. So these are postage dues. So this is J1. He's actually got a few of them here. Let's see if I can slip these out without hurting them. They're overprinted. So this is J1. So the first postage due from the Vatican. Excuse me. Assuming that these are identified correctly. They all seem to have the overprint. That's J2. Here's J4. Oof, just doesn't want to come up. Well, that's a surcharge, I think, actually. Oh, these may be surcharged, yeah. J12. Interesting. J9. In case you guys want to see a little bit better. 80. There's some random airmails here that are, oh, it looks like a postcard cutout. Oh. $1985 cancel. Huh. Oh, that was it. Okay. Oh, neat. Dang, man, I gotta say, I really did like this album. This was a better album than I expected it to be. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the search. As always, I wish you all the best. Hey, like and subscribe if you feel like it. It does help me out, and I do appreciate it. All of you guys are so awesome. And I'll catch you next time. I'll be back later. Until then, Happy New Year. Best of luck to all of you. Hope everything goes smooth. Hope everything goes your way. Hope life is just a ball of joy. And I will see you later. All right, guys. See ya. Bye.